So we've shared personal stories, we've done a grab bag. Now today we're going to take overwhelm into the professional setting.
Where a lot of us experience overwhelm, and we know that many of our listeners are entrepreneurs. So don't think that this doesn't impact you, because professional overwhelm is perhaps impacting the group of entrepreneurs the most. So whether you're a professional in a corporate setting or a professional in an entrepreneurial setting, today's episode is for you.
We've had some really cool access to some really cool people, and we want to share it with you.
We have an amazing interview series of some of the interviews we've done with celebrities like Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny, Dr. Joseph McClendon III, famous neuropsychologist, former professor of UCLA. We've got Dr. Bruce Lipton, author of Beyond Belief, and we even have John Maxwell, the #1 leadership expert.
Your sisters want to bring you into the room with our most exclusive access. So go to kandshy.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see a button that says Get My Celebrity Interview Series, and we would love to share our access with you.
KAYANDSHI.com. We'll see you over there.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
All right, so we're talking about overwhelm in a professional setting, or maybe in an organizational setting as well. Now, man, I know that I have certainly gotten overwhelmed by the workplace, by work-life drama, by the work-life blending that seems to take place, the entrepreneurial journey, the corporate journey. I don't think there has ever been a time where I have been in a work situation where I haven't experienced some form of overwhelm.
You know, one of the, Kay, you've heard me say this before, but one of my personal strategies that I've kind of hobbled together, you find things or phrases that work for you as you go. And sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed by work, I've said this kind of macabre phrase before, and that is, there will be emails that go unanswered in your inbox on the day you die. Now, I know that is dark, but for me, there's this weird sense of comfort that the inbox is never going to be done. The to-do list is never going to be done. And so knowing that you can put it down before it's done can give you that sense of feeling of peace that allows you to go enjoy the other parts of your life.
I love, macabre may it be, but helpful because it helps us to kind of have that understanding that it's always going to be this way. And so getting overwhelmed by the fact that it's always going to be this way is only you hurting you. Now, when it comes to a workplace setting, whether you're an entrepreneur or maybe you work for someone else, there are ways that you can overcome overwhelm. And one of the best ways to do this is to draw boundaries, to have your boundaries, know what they are, and set them. I know that we really have to manage this, especially in the entrepreneurial space, because it can be so hard to not just grind it out sometimes, all the time, to work all the time. And sometimes it can be really hard to put your baby down when they're smiling at you and being so cute, but you got to go get on meetings and you have work, you have things to answer, right? And not attending to those things would create overwhelm. And so there's a delicate balance to play, but when you know what your boundaries are, at least you have the lines which you can then color in.
Now, these 3 strategies that we're sharing right now are coming at you from Forbes magazine. Recently, they had an article written by Ashley Logan titled 3 Steps to Avoid Overwhelm and Burnout to Thrive at Work. So draw boundaries is that first one. Knowing what your values are and then setting boundaries around yourself to reflect them both for yourself and for those around you can be really helpful. The second one that Ashley brings forward in this article is to create self-care rituals. If you have self-care already ritualized as a habit in your life, then it will serve you you as a base for that foundation of emotional well-being, especially when things become overwhelming in that professional setting.
The final tip that she gives is to align intentions with actions. So that allows you to take actions in alignment with that values and with those missions. The consistency that you then end up demonstrating between your intention, the way that you think, and the actions that come out help to demonstrate for everybody what your values are, and hopefully they're ones that are constructive for your life.
One of the things that my husband, Chad, likes to use when it comes to addressing overwhelm in the workplace or in your professional setting is to use those rules of 5. Will I care about this, or will it matter to me or to the business in 5 minutes, 5 weeks, 5 months, and even you can ask yourself 5 years. And this is helpful for you because sometimes those of us who have high emotions get a little triggered by things, and we might get fully laser tunnel vision focus on a certain outcome or task or circumstance that's happening, and asking yourself, will this matter in 5 days, can allow you to say, oh, that committing that much overwhelm to something that isn't this important isn't healthy for me, and can allow you to reorient on what that emotional state is doing to you. So love that rule of 5. That might be a helpful one to put in your bag.
All right, one final for that professional overwhelm. And this is actually a really great tactic. If you've got someone in your professional environment that you can ask for some help. Now, we're not saying asking for help with your tasks, but sometimes the overwhelm comes when there's so much on our plate that we don't know how to tackle it. So ask a fellow colleague or maybe a partner for an organizational thinking session where you give all of the things that you have on your plate and have somebody else help you sort out how you're going to tackle it and what that looks like. Now, you can do this exercise yourself by spewing your entire list onto a piece of paper, but sometimes this can have the opposite effect. When you see it all on a piece of paper, it makes you feel more overwhelmed. So coming alongside that partner can be a great way for you to overcome overwhelm in a professional setting. We hope that you've enjoyed this week on Overcoming Overwhelm, because if you're a human just like us, if you're in our family, then overwhelm is something that you certainly have experienced.
And if you are part of this family, then we hope you have a fantastic weekend, and we want you to know we are always rooting for you and reminding you to root for yourself too. With love from your sisters, Kay and Shai.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers, and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.